Hi there. We are excited to show to you our new litter of puppies. So these are Daisy and Cliff's puppies. They were born Thursday, March 29th. Today is Wednesday, April 4th. So tomorrow will be their 1 week mark. So they're growing and doing good. And we just want to introduce each puppy to you kind of one at a time a little bit. At this age, their eyes and ears are still closed. We don't expect those to be opening for another week to 10 days, most likely. At that point, once they open, they will become a little more active and more aware of the world around them. Right now, they are solely dependent on their sense of smell, which is absolutely amazing. They can find where their mama is in the whelping box by smell, find their way to her. They can also smell whether they are on her back or her tummy. They can smell the milk. And that's how, without being able to see a thing, they get themselves fed. So they are quite amazing in that way. Once their eyes open, they'll become more active, but we still just want to show them to you, here at the 6-day mark, because they are so darn cute. So I'm just going to start right here with our black puppy. He's right here by me. While the puppies are in our home, we just refer to them by their ribbon color. And then obviously once they come into your home, you get to pick their name for them. And we do apologize. We know that on video and picture, the ribbon colors are harder to tell apart than in real life. We usually try not to have ribbon colors that look similar in the photography. However, with a litter of 11, it becomes hard to avoid those colors that appear similar. So we do apologize that some of these might sometimes, depending on lighting, be difficult to tell apart. But here is our black puppy, and he is a boy, and we are going to show him to you. If we roll him over here on his back, can you move your feet? Right here you can see a tiny little bit of a scab left. That's where his umbilical cord has come off. Basically, that's a dog's belly button. They don't have an indentation or a sticky outie like people do, but that is the dog's belly button. And then, he's going to yawn. Oh, I know, so tired. And then I'll show you right here. They have, on Monday, they had their tails done. So they dock the tail and shorten the tail on a Vizsla. The reason for that is where they're hunting dogs, the shorter tail, they say, protects them from injury. I hear on rare occasions that some Vizslas with the long tails can actually break their tail, because a Vizsla's tail does get quite slender at the end. They're not near as thick as say like a lab's tail or something like that. So they can be prone to injury, they say. So that's why that is done. That's breed standard. Also breed standard is that the dew claws are removed at that same time. So the dew claw is basically a thumb right here on the front paws. And the reason that is taken off is where they're hunting dogs, if they're running through brush and weeds and stuff like that, they can actually later in life rip that off. And taking it off at a young age is much less traumatic than having it ripped off when they are bigger. So those are two things. Both are breed standard here in the United States for this breed, and so those have been done. They get done very early. We did them at 3 days of age. And the reason for that is it's not as painful for them. They actually say it's not even hardly painful, which is hard for us to believe. But if you stop to think about it, their eyes are closed, their ears are sealed, their nervous systems are not fully developed. And so it does make some sense that it's really not that bad of an experience for them. I know once we get them home and back with mama, they don't even act like anything has happened. So hopefully it's not too bad for them. And like I say, it is done, for the protection and safety of the dog. Anyway, so here is our black puppy. Now, some Vizslas are solid, meaning they have no white markings. Other Vizslas do have white markings on them. The reason that you see this variation is the Vizsla is a very old breed. It's been around for a very long time. Originates in Hungary. So sometimes they're called Hungarian Vizslas or Magyar Vizslas. And originally they were a breed that was reserved only for royalty. Thankfully, the rest of us normal folks get to enjoy them these days. But during the World Wars, they nearly became extinct. And we can credit the breed mostly to one man who got his dogs out. I believe it was 12 or 14 dogs, something like that he was able to sneak out and get across the border to save the breed. But that wasn't a very vast gene pool to continue the breed with. So at that point, other breeds of dogs were introduced into the breed in restoring the breed. And so some of those dogs have white markings. So that is where you will see white markings coming out on some Vizslas. Now, white markings are acceptable on a Vizsla if they are confined to the feet or the chest. They don't want the white markings to be other locations on a Vizsla for breed standard. Now, breed standard really only matters as far as show, or like conformation show, which is the prettiest dog show, or for breeding. In those two situations, breed standard is very important to be maintained. But the puppies that you have that have an out of breed standard and non-conforming mark, they can still just be wonderful companions, runners, hunters. They can still compete in like dock jumping or obedience or, any of those kinds of things. The breed standard is critical for breeding and for the conformation show. Anyway, so let me show you the markings on each puppy. He's not sure he wants us to. So if you look here, he's solid in the chest. He has solid front paws. Can I see your feet, sir? I know, sir. And solid back paws. He does have a little bit of marking. This one's hard to show you because I don't like this. Right up here, right in the throat area. He's got a little tiny faint marking. Sometimes the faint ones go away. Sometimes they stay. His is borderline. I'm not sure which way it's going to go. So now this marking right here is, for example, one that is outside of breed standard. Now it's very faint. It's not even hardly ever in his life probably going to be visible. It'll be right there under the collar area. In no way is it going to impact his health or his temperament or his companionship or his hunting or any of those things. But for anyone who is looking for breeding or conformation show, he's probably not the puppy that you're going to want to go with for those things. He is extremely handsome though and will make a great dog in many other aspects. So there is our black puppy. And we'll lay him over here so I can keep track of which ones I've done. With this many, it gets hard to keep track. Let me show you gray next. So here is the gray boy. He is on the smaller side of the boys at this point. Now, like I say, it can change vastly in the next 8 weeks. Just because they're born larger or smaller doesn't mean they're going to stay that way. We weigh them regularly. We track their growth. So when it comes time to pick, we'll be able to tell you how they compare in size to the rest of the litter. We'll also be able to tell you how they compare to themselves. How much have they, how many times their birth weight are they? How fast are they growing? That kind of thing. All those things play together to know, how big the puppy's really going to be at maturity. So here is, he's trying to turn away from the lights. Here is the gray puppy. Again, just so darn cute. Mom and dad of this litter are both just absolutely stunning, beautiful, beautiful dogs. So we are really excited. These dogs are going to be wonderful. So if we roll him over, you can see he's got a pretty good chest mark right here. Again, that marking is not a problem at all. That is a marking that is allowable in breed standard. But he does also have, again, about like blacks, pretty small, but a little bit of white right there in the throat area. So that, again, if you're looking for show or breeding, probably not the puppy that you're going to want to go with. Solid front paws. If we get back here, solid back paws. He does have a tiny bit of white right here in the groin area. These, both the throat and the groin, are markings that are not unusual in Vizslas. I wouldn't call them unusual at all. Again, they're outside of breed standard, but they're coming through those other breeds that were used to create the Vizsla. So they introduced other breeds, like I said, to bring back the genetic diversity so that they could get the numbers up without extensive inbreeding. And then obviously they picked the puppies from those litters that maintain the most Vizsla-like traits and chose them to breed. But in breeding, you have dominant and recessive genes. So basically, a dog can carry something that they themselves are not exhibiting. Now that's what we're seeing going on here. Neither mom or dad have any outside of breed standard markings. Dad's actually solid, and mom of this litter, Daisy, she has just, like these are teeny tiny in their throat. She has teeny tiny on her chest that actually don't even hardly show. They showed as a puppy, but they've really faded. So mom is very lightly marked, but within breed standard, and dad, no markings at all. And yet we're seeing it come through, in this litter, the markings. So that's just something that they can carry recessive traits that, if you get two parents that happen to both give recessive, then it can show up. Again, just coming through those breeds that were used for creating the Vizsla. But you can see he's just a handsome, handsome boy. Mom and dad both have excellent, excellent temperaments and personalities. Never had a health problem with either one of them. Wonderful, wonderful dogs. And both have beautiful structure, very muscular, lean, good energy, very athletic. Both come from hunting lines, which actually, that's another interesting point. Folklore with Vizsla is that the dogs with white markings are better hunters. Now, I can't say scientifically if that has ever been proven, but folklore is that the white dogs seem to make better hunters. So there are those two. Let's see here. Here's another boy. So we'll grab Red. Oh, gonna wake you up. Oh, stretch. I know. So here is Mr. Red. I'll show you while I've got him, if you want to come in close with the camera. When I say their ears are sealed, this is what I mean. There's no opening to the ear canal. And the ear is quite thick and small, almost waxy. As they get bigger, this ear will thin out and it will get, more its full size. And at about the same time, about 2 weeks that their eyes open, their ears will also unseal. And that's when they start to really be able to interact with the world around them, and it's really, really a lot of fun. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay, let's show you Red. So if we roll him over, and we look here, there's like 4 or 5 white hairs right there in the calic. You probably can't even see them on the camera. 4 or 5 white hairs. This is a marking that is likely to fade. I don't have a crystal ball, but in my experience, these ones that are just a few hairs and really faint as a puppy usually disappear as they get bigger. Now let's tip his chin up and look. Not really anything under there. There might be 1 or 2 hairs right there. I'm not even sure, even in real life, if there's anything. There might be 1 or 2 hairs right there, but really, if it's there, it's probably not going to stay. If we look at front paws, they are solid. And if we look at back paws, they are solid. So the Red puppy here is most likely going to end up a solid dog. I don't think that those few white hairs are going to stay. If they do, they'll be very faint and not very noticeable. So that is our Red puppy. I can't remember if I said he also is one of the little bit smaller males. So Red and Gray. Red is the smallest. I'll lay him by Gray here. Red's the smallest right now of the males. Gray's next, and then the others are quite large. So let me grab Blue right here. He's another big boy. Can you say hi, Blue? Can you say hi? Blue, I think, is going to be a little bit lighter in color. I don't know if you can see on the camera. Black is seeming a deeper red than Blue is. Their coat will change color as they grow and develop. Right now, they're much more brown than they are going to end up. As they grow and they get that adult fur, they get more red coloring to them. But usually the ones who are darker as puppies will also be darker as adults. So I think Blue, I wouldn't say he's going to be blonde, but he might be a little bit lighter than some of these other puppies. Oh, he's going to yawn for you too, I know. We are just so tired. He has quite a bulky head. So does Black. They're bigger, bulkier puppies. And we will roll him over and take a look at him. Okay, so we're looking at his chest here. Really almost like Black, even less. I'm not even sure if that's white or if it's just the light shining. There may be a hair or two right there, but if there is, I'm almost sure that won't stay. And if we look at his chin, maybe there's something right there. Maybe. Again, it's not like a definite white. It's almost just like it's shinier or more blonde, more like a highlight maybe than a definite white. I don't think I can't guarantee. I don't think either of those are going to stay, if they're even there now. They're very faint. Solid front paws. Oh, yawns. And solid back paws. So, he's our other male that is appearing to maybe be solid. Oh, I said like Black. I think it was red. Sorry, I think it was red that had, was it red that had the light markings? I think it was red. Okay, now, let's see here. We've got one more boy clear over here in the corner. Come here, buddy. Come here. You're hiding from it. We gotta get the boys done. Oh, wake you up. Wake you up. I'm rude, I know. So here is the orange puppy. He is the most marked of the boys. So if you like a marked puppy, he would be an excellent one for you. There's not a right or a wrong. It's just uniqueness, differentness. Some people really, really prefer the marked puppies. It is not at all uncommon for us to have the marked puppies be the very first ones picked from a litter, because some people really enjoy the individuality that it brings to a breed that tends to look a lot alike. And then other people who lean more the show direction tend to prefer the unmarked. There's not a right or wrong. It's totally up to you, whatever your preference is. If you do like that individuality of the markings, then orange would be a great one for you. Let's show you his markings. Come on, head up. I know. So you can see he has quite a defined and definite marking right there on the chest. And he again has the collar marking. So I would not recommend him for conformation or breeding. Anything else, he's going to just be wonderful for. And I stretch, yes. Solid front paws. And marked, he's got lints on his toenails from crawling around. And marked toes in the back. So the chest and the toes, there's no issue there with those. But because of the chin, he's not going to be a breeder, but he'll be a wonderful friend. All right, now that's all of our boys. We have 5 boys and 6 girls. Let's move on to our girls. We're going to start with the little ones of the girls. Teal here, she has the teal ribbon, is tiny. She is a petite, sweet, little tiny thing. Time will tell for sure whether my gut is right on this or not. I don't think she's a runt. You can have runts in a litter, especially large litters, so I can't say for sure at this point whether she is or is not a runt. There's nothing wrong with a runt. They're going to be smaller at maturity, which actually we quite often have people say, I want a little one. And so runts are great for those people who want a little bit smaller dog. I actually suspect that she's just not as old. A mother dog does not release all of her eggs at the same time, and I'm suspecting that her egg was released a few days later than these other puppies, and that she's just not as old. She's just not as grown up and developed yet as the other puppies. Now, we'll be able to tell that as we track her growth, like I've explained. How fast is she growing compared to herself? How fast is she growing compared to the rest of the litter? She may catch right up, or she may stay little, and time will tell on that. But right now, she is very petite. A very little, sweet little thing. So you can, everything about her head and everything about her is just smaller right now at this point. Let's roll her over and show her to you. So right here She has a chest marking for sure. And if we look under here, she's got the throat marking, like some of her brothers have had. Now, solid front paws. I know, sweetheart. Can I get your paws? They're so little. And solid back paws. So she has those two markings, the chest and the throat. And we'll keep you posted. If you're one of those that's wanting a little Vizsla, we'll see. We'll keep you posted whether she catches up or whether she stays little tiny. All right, Green is also a little one, but not as little as Teal. So again, it could be an age thing, or she may stay little. We'll just keep you posted on that. So here is our Green girl. And if we roll her over, she has a very little faint marking right there. That's about like what Daisy's was as a puppy, just little like that. Like I say, hers has mostly faded. It kind of depends on the season. Some seasons of the year you can see Daisy's if you really look, and other times it's not there at all. So there is her chest marking. If we tip up, she does have the throat right in there. These puppies have lint stuck to their toenails from crawling around. Okay, let's look at their front paws. Solid. And if we look at her back paws, solid. And she is one that has a little bit of that groin marking. I don't know if you can even see it. There's a little bit of white there and there. That may stay, it may go. It's really hard to say. As they grow, a dog's coat there in the groin area, it really gets pretty thin. It's not an area that stays hairy and furry. So sometimes those groin markings disappear. Sometimes they may stay. We'll just have to watch and see on that. So there is our Green girl. They are the two small girls. Now Yellow is kind of in between. So let's show her to you next. Here is our Yellow girl. Can you smile? Huh? Can you smile? We'll roll her over. Again, she's one you can see the scab right there of her umbilical stump. Oh, you don't want to roll over, huh? Well, we need to take a look. So if we look right here, she is solid on the chest. And if we tip her head up, she's got teeny, teeny, tiny right there. Not anything big at all. I am going to make a guess and say more likely it will fade than stay, but it's possible that it will stay, but very teeny tiny. And if we look at front paws, they are solid. And come here, sweet baby. If we look at back paws, she has these two middle toes on the right paw that have not a real definite white marking, but kind of a frosting right there. All right, so she's kind of in the middle size-wise as far as the girls go, and so is Pink. So let's grab Pink next. Hi, sweetheart. Can you say hi? Here is our Pink girl. And we will roll her over and show you her markings. She has a small chest marking. Not anything very big. It may stay, it may fade. That's kind of a borderline size as far as whether to expect it to stay or go. But if it stays, I don't think it's going to be something that's, dramatic and jumps out. If we tip her chin up, sorry, sweetheart. She is solid under the chin. And then, if we look at front paws, those are solid. And if we look at back paws, those are solid. So she has a very small chest marking, and that is it for the Pink girl. All right, next up in size would be Purple for the girls. Here she is.